The stars looked different from the observation deck of Earth defense ship Orion. Captain Jack Harlow stood with his hands behind his back, watching the gas giant Jupiter slowly turn below. His patrol route had seemed routine until 10 minutes ago. Now every muscle in his body was tight with tension. "Any change, Lieutenant?" Jack asked. Lieutenant Amy Davis shook her head. "No, sir. The unknown ship is still holding position near Ganymede. It's not responding to any of our signals." Jack nodded. After 20 years in space, he thought he had seen everything. This was different. The ship had appeared without warning, its design unlike anything in Earth's records. "Keep trying all frequencies. I want to know who they are and what they want," Jack said. He ran a hand through his short brown hair, a habit when he was thinking. "Yes, sir," Amy replied, her fingers moving quickly across the communications panel. Chief Engineer Paul Garcia approached with a tablet. "Captain, I've analyzed the sensor readings. Whatever this thing is, it's at least twice our size and using some kind of energy system we've never seen before." Jack looked at the readings. The unknown ship's power output was off the charts. If it decided to attack, the Orion wouldn't stand a chance. "Options?" Jack asked. "We could retreat to Mars Station," Paul suggested. "Call for backup." Jack shook his head. "No. By the time help arrives, they could be gone. This is first contact. We need to handle it right." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what was at stake. Humanity had been alone in the solar system for all of recorded history. Now something else was here. "Captain," Amy called out suddenly. "They're hailing us." Jack straightened his uniform. On screen. The main view screen flickered to life and the humans on the bridge gasped. The creature on the screen towered over a control panel of some kind. It had scales like a reptile but stood upright like a person. Its head was long and narrow with a ridge of spines running from the top of its skull down its back. 4 yellow eyes blinked at them from deep sockets. "This is Captain Jack Harlow of the Earth Defense Force," Jack said, keeping his voice steady. "You have entered our solar system without permission. State your identity and purpose." The alien tilted its head. When it spoke, the ship's computer translated its hissing sounds into English. "I am Commander Zrek of the Calaxian Expansion Fleet," the creature said. "We claim this system for the Calaxian Empire." Jack felt cold sweat on his back but kept his face calm. "This system is already claimed. It is the home of humanity. We've lived here for thousands of years." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Irrelevant. We have found 816 inhabited worlds. All now serve the Empire." The bridge crew exchanged worried glances. Jack stepped closer to the screen. "We don't serve anyone. This system is under Earth protection. I suggest you leave peacefully." "You misunderstand," Zrek said. "This is not a negotiation. The strong hunt. The weak are hunted. This is the way of all things." Jack understood now. They weren't dealing with explorers or diplomats. These were predators, conquerors. "If you want our world," Jack said firmly, "you'll have to fight for it." For the first time, Commander Zrek looked directly into Jack's eyes on the screen. In that moment, something unexpected happened. The alien's yellow eyes widened slightly. Its head pulled back a few inches. For just a second, the creature looked uncomfortable. "You are unusual prey," Zrek said finally. There was a new tone in its voice. "We will study you further before the main fleet arrives." The screen went dark. Moments later, the alien ship pulled away from Ganymede, turning back toward deep space. The bridge erupted in confused chatter. Paul looked at his sensors. "They're leaving the system, Captain. At their speed, they'll pass Pluto's orbit in about 3 days." Jack didn't reply right away. He was thinking about that strange moment when the alien commander had looked into his eyes. "Sir?" Amy asked. "What just happened?" "I'm not sure," Jack said. "But I think we just got a stay of execution, not a pardon." He turned to his communications officer. "Send everything we have to Earth Command. Tell them we need an emergency meeting with all world leaders." 2 days later, Jack stood in the United Nations Security Council chamber in New York. The room was packed with government officials, military leaders, and scientists. He had just finished presenting his report on the encounter. "So these Calaxians, they're coming back?" asked the Secretary General. "Yes, ma'am," Jack replied. "Commander Zarek mentioned a main fleet. I believe what we saw was just a scout ship." Dr. Lisa Bennett raised her hand. The xenobiologist had been called in from the Mars research station as soon as Jack's report reached Earth. "Captain Harlow," she said, "can you describe again the moment when you made eye contact with the alien commander?" Jack closed his eyes, remembering. It was strange. This creature had been completely confident, almost dismissive of us. Then it looked me in the eyes and something changed. It seemed disturbed somehow. Lisa nodded, her expression thoughtful. In Earth species, direct eye contact often has significant meaning. For some animals, it's a challenge. For others, it communicates trust. For predators, eye contact with prey is often the moment before attack. "You think that's important?" Jack asked. "I think it might be our only advantage," Lisa replied. "These Calaxians have conquered hundreds of worlds. They must have technology far beyond ours." But something about human eyes made this commander pause. "We need to understand why." The room broke into discussion. Military officials argued for immediate preparation for war. Diplomats suggested attempts at peaceful contact. Scientists wanted more data. Jack found himself unable to focus on the debate. He kept thinking about those yellow eyes staring into his. He had seen something there, a hunger that had consumed entire civilizations. But for the first time, that hunger had hesitated. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. When he finally dozed off, he dreamed of yellow eyes watching Earth from the darkness of space. In his dream, billions of those eyes blinked open among the stars, all turning toward his home. He woke up covered in sweat. His phone was ringing. It was Admiral Peter Collins, head of Earth Defense. "Harlow," the Admiral said without greeting, "we're detecting multiple objects entering the solar system from the direction your alien left. Get back to your ship. They didn't wait as long as we hoped." Jack felt his heart sink. "How many ships, sir?" There was a pause on the line. "Not ships, Captain. A fleet. At least 50 vessels, all bigger than the scout you encountered." Jack closed his eyes. "I'll be at the spaceport in 30 minutes. He ended the call and walked to his window. The night sky looked peaceful, the stars twinkling as they had for all of human history. But now Jack knew what was out there among those stars. Predators were coming, and humanity was the prey. As he packed his bag, he wondered again about that strange moment of hesitation. What had Commander Zrek seen in human eyes that made even an alien predator pause? Jack hoped they could find the answer before it was too late. 6 months passed since the first contact with the Calaxians. Earth had used every minute to prepare. Ships were built, weapons were designed, and soldiers were trained. Everyone knew it might not be enough. Admiral Ellen Price stood on the bridge of the flagship Guardian, watching the red planet Mars through the main window. Earth's combined space forces waited in orbit around the fourth planet, the last defense before the aliens could reach Earth. "Status report," Ellen said. Commander Frank Lewis checked his screens. "All ships in position, Admiral. The lunar base reports that their defenses are ready." Ellen nodded. She was a tall woman with gray hair cut short and eyes that rarely showed fear. Today, though, she was worried. The Calaxian fleet had arrived at the edge of the solar system 2 days ago, but hadn't attacked yet. This waiting was strange. "Any word from the diplomatic team?" she asked. "No, ma'am. Communication silence is planned until their meeting is complete." Ellen frowned. She didn't like the plan. Sending humans to meet these predators face to face seemed dangerous, but the scientists thought it might work, and they needed any advantage they could get. On the International Lunar Base, Dr. Lisa Bennett checked her appearance one last time. Her dark blue uniform was clean and pressed. Her brown hair was tied back neatly. She took a deep breath to calm her nerves. "Ready?" asked Major Ryan Cooper. Lisa nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be to meet aliens who want to eat us." Ryan tried to smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. He was a big man with short blonde hair and strong hands. As head of security for the diplomatic mission, he was responsible for keeping everyone safe. "Remember the plan," he said quietly. "Make eye contact, but don't stare. We need to see how they react." The door to the meeting room slid open. Inside, 3 Calaxians waited. They were even more impressive in person than on video. The smallest one was 7 feet tall. Their scales shimmered with green and purple colors in the light. Lisa stepped forward. "I am Dr. Lisa Bennett of Earth. I thank you for agreeing to this meeting." The largest Calaxian moved forward. "I am War Master Thrix. This is Science Hunter, Kraz and young Hunter Vex." The alien's voice was translated by a small device on Lisa's collar. Lisa noticed that the Calaxians looked at her chest, or over her head, not at her face. She remembered Captain Harlow's report about eye contact affecting them. "Please sit," she said, gesturing to the large chairs made specially for the aliens' size. The Calaxians moved with the grace of natural hunters. Their clawed hands rested on the table. No weapons were visible, but Lisa knew their teeth and claws were dangerous enough. "You wish to speak before we begin the hunt," Thrix said. "This is unusual, but we are curious about your species." Lisa sat straight and looked directly at Thrix's face. "We want to understand each other better. War isn't the only way our species can interact." When she made eye contact, she saw the same reaction Captain Harlow had described. The alien's yellow eyes widened slightly, and its head pulled back an inch. It broke eye contact quickly, looking at the wall behind her. "Understanding prey is not necessary for hunting," Thrix said, but his voice had a new tone: uncertainty. For the next hour, Lisa tried to explain human culture, history, and values. The aliens seemed both fascinated and confused. They asked strange questions about human eyes, how they worked, what humans saw, how emotions affected them. Science Hunter Kraz leaned forward. "Your kind makes eye contact during normal communication. Why? In our species, eye contact is only for killing moments." Lisa felt a chill. "For humans, eye contact shows trust, honesty, and connection. We look into each other's eyes to show we're listening and that we care." The Calaxians exchanged looks with each other, their tails moving nervously. "This explains much," Kraz said. "When your captain looked at Commander Zrek, it created confusion. Zrek felt the killing impulse, but also something else, something we do not have a word for. Empathy, perhaps?" Lisa suggested. Before Kraz could answer, young Hunter Vex suddenly stood up. The youngest and most aggressive of the aliens had been quiet until now. "Enough talk," Vex hissed. "They are trying to trick us with their eyes. They are prey, nothing more." Vex moved toward Ryan with shocking speed. Lisa barely had time to gasp before the alien was inches from the Major's face. Ryan didn't flinch. He stood his ground and looked directly into Vex's 4 yellow eyes. His hand stayed at his sides, making no move toward his weapon. What happened? Next amazed Lisa. The young Calaxian froze. Its breathing became fast and irregular. Its tail thrashed behind it. Vex's eyes were locked with Ryan's, unable to look away but clearly disturbed. After 10 long seconds, Vex made a high-pitched sound and backed away. "This is wrong," the alien cried. "They look back. Prey should not look back." War Master Thrix stood up. "This meeting is over. Return to your ships, humans. We must consider what we have learned." When the Calaxians left, Lisa let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "Did you see that?" Ryan nodded, his face serious. "They can't handle our eyes. It does something to them." Back on the ship, Lisa reported everything to Admiral Price. The Admiral listened carefully, her face thoughtful. "So looking them in the eye confuses them," Ellen said. "It's not much, but it's something we can use." "There's more," Lisa added. "From what their scientists said, I think Calaxians evolved as ambush predators. They avoid eye contact except when delivering a killing blow. For them, eye contact is intimate, almost sacred." Ellen leaned forward. "And we make eye contact all the time." Exactly, it's like we're constantly sending mixed signals. We trigger their predatory instincts but also activate something else, maybe parts of their brains that they rarely use. It creates a cognitive dissonance. Ellen stood up and walked to the window. The stars looked cold and distant. Somewhere out there, the Calaxian fleet was waiting. "Can we use this?" she asked. "I think so. We need to develop new tactics. Train our people to maintain eye contact during encounters." Ellen nodded. "Get started immediately. Work with the combat units." Before Lisa could leave, alarms began to sound throughout the ship. Commander Lewis rushed into the room. "Admiral, 3 Calaxian ships have broken formation and are attacking our outpost on Phobos." Ellen's face hardened. "So they've made their decision. Get to the bridge, Doctor. The real test begins now." As Lisa hurried through the corridors of the ship, she thought about what she had learned. The Calaxians were powerful predators who had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had never met humans before, never looked into human eyes. For the first time since the aliens arrived, Lisa felt a small spark of hope. The Calaxians were hunters, but every hunter had a weakness. They had found one, and now they needed to use it before it was too late. The battle for Phobos lasted 3 days. When it was over, the small Martian moon had deep scars from weapon fire, and both sides had lost ships. The humans managed to hold their ground, but just barely. In the main conference room of the Guardian, Admiral Price looked at the tired faces around the table. Captain Jack Harlow was there, having been called back from Earth. Dr. Lisa Bennett sat next to him, dark circles under her eyes from lack of sleep. Several military leaders joined by video from their ships. "This was just the first test," Ellen said. "They were checking our strength. The main attack will be worse." Jack nodded. "What did we learn?" "Their ships are faster than ours," said Commander Lewis. "Their weapons are stronger, but our shields held better than expected, and their tactics were strange." "Strange how?" Lisa asked. "They avoid direct confrontation," Lewis explained. "They prefer to attack from behind or below. When our ships faced them head-on, they often changed course." Lisa leaned forward. "Just like their behavior with eye contact. They don't like direct engagement." Ellen turned to Lisa. "Doctor, have you made any progress with your research?" "Yes," Lisa said. "I've been working with Dr. Daniel Murphy, our top psychologist. We believe the Calaxians evolved as ambush predators, attacking from hiding. Humans, on the other hand, evolved as both predator and prey. This gives our eyes a quality that confuses their brains." "Can we use this?" Ellen asked. "We already have a plan," Lisa replied. "We call it Operation Medusa." She pulled up images on the main screen. They showed new helmets with special eye displays on the front. These helmets project enhanced human eyes on the front shield. Early tests show they disturb the Calaxians even more than normal eye contact. Jack studied the design. "You want to put these on our soldiers?" "Not just soldiers," Lisa said. "We're forming special units trained to maintain eye contact during combat. Sergeant Olivia Ward is heading the first team." The screen changed to show a woman with short red hair and determined green eyes. Sergeant Ward saluted the group. "My team has been training with the new helmets," she said. "We believe we can use them to board Calaxian ships." Ellen frowned. "Board their ships? That's extremely dangerous." "Yes, ma'am," Olivia agreed. "But our simulations show it could work. The Calaxians are physically stronger than us, but the eye effect gives us an advantage in close combat." The discussion continued for hours. Finally, they agreed to try the plan. Jack would lead a fleet to distract the main Calaxian forces, while Olivia's team attempted to board one of their ships. Meanwhile, Dr. Daniel Murphy was working with Jack to understand why human eyes affected the aliens so strongly. Daniel was a tall man with kind eyes and a thoughtful manner. He had spent years studying how different species communicate through eye contact. "It's fascinating," Daniel told Jack as they examined brain scans of the young Calaxian who had been captured during the Phobos battle. "Their brains light up in 2 different areas when they make eye contact with humans. One area is their hunting center, but the other seems to be some kind of empathy center that they rarely use. So our eyes trigger conflicting instincts? Jack asked. Exactly. They want to hunt us, but they also feel an unexpected connection. It creates confusion and hesitation. Jack rubbed his tired eyes. Is that enough to save us? Daniel smiled slightly. It might be. Every advantage matters now. 3 days later, Operation Medusa began. The Earth fleet engaged the Calaxians near the asteroid belt. The battle was fierce. Laser fire and explosions lit up the darkness of space. Aboard her small stealth ship, Sergeant Olivia Ward led her team toward a Calaxian vessel that had separated from the main group. Her team wore the special helmets with eye displays. Remember your training, Olivia told her team. Direct eye contact. Stand your ground. Don't show fear. They docked with the alien ship using a cutting tool to create an entrance. When they entered, the corridors were dim and warm, with a strange smell like cinnamon and metal. They encountered the first Calaxian guard at a junction. The alien was huge, with weapons attached to its armor. When it saw the humans, it raised its weapon, but then froze when faced with their eye displays. Olivia stepped forward, looking directly at the creature. We are here for information. Take us to your control room. The Calaxian hissed but backed away, its tail twitching nervously. It kept trying to look away from her eyes but seemed unable to do so completely. The team moved deeper into the ship, using the same technique with each Calaxian they encountered. Not all aliens were affected equally. The older ones seemed more able to resist, but it gave the humans enough of an edge to proceed. In the main control room, they downloaded valuable data about Calaxian ships, weapons, and most importantly, the location of their homeworld. As they were finishing, an alarm sounded. Time to go, Olivia said. We got what we came for. The return trip was harder. More Calaxians had gathered, and some had covered their eyes with protective gear. The team had to fight their way back to their ship. Private Scott Miller was separated from the group during the retreat. He found himself cornered by 2 Calaxians. Scott raised his weapon, but it was damaged. Instead, he removed his helmet and looked directly at his enemies with his natural eyes. Come on, then, he said quietly. The Calaxians hesitated, looking at each other in confusion. Scott used that moment to slip past them and rejoin his team. When they returned to the Guardian, Admiral Price was waiting. Half of Earth's fleet had been destroyed in the battle, but they had held the line. Did you get the data? She asked. Olivia handed over the information device. Yes, ma'am, and we learned something else, too. Their younger warriors are more affected by eye contact than the older ones. It's like they've never developed resistance to it. Ellen took the device. Good work, Sergeant. Get your team some rest. You've earned it. Later, in her quarters, Lisa studied the data with Daniel. This is incredible, she said. Look at their homeworld. It's a jungle planet with thick canopy cover. No wonder they evolved as ambush predators. Daniel pointed to another section of data. And look here. They have few natural predators themselves. Unlike humans, who had to watch for threats from all directions, the Calaxians only needed to worry about what was in front of them. That explains their psychology, Lisa said. They never developed the kind of emotional communication through eyes that humans did. Their discussion was interrupted by an emergency alert. Ellen's voice came over the speakers. All personnel to battle stations. Calaxian fleet is advancing on Mars orbit. This is not a drill. Lisa looked at Daniel, her face serious. Let's hope what we've learned is enough. This is going to be the real test. Outside the viewport, the stars were obscured as the massive Calaxian fleet moved toward Mars. The largest battle in human history was about to begin. The battle for Mars lasted 7 days. It was the largest space battle in human history. When it ended, both sides pulled back to recover. Half of Earth's fleet was gone. Admiral Ellen Price was among the dead, her ship destroyed while protecting the Mars colonies. Captain Jack Harlow, now promoted to admiral, stood in the medical bay of the Earth Defense Base on Deimos, Mars's smaller moon. The room was quiet except for the soft beep of machines. A wounded Calaxian lay on a special table, its yellow eyes watching Jack warily. "Has it said anything?" Jack asked Dr. Lisa Bennett. Lisa nodded. "A little. It seems to be a younger one, maybe not fully trained. It was injured when its ship crashed on Deimos. The alien's scales were darker than others Jack had seen, almost black with hints of deep green. Its breathing was slow but steady." "Does it have a name?" Jack asked. "It calls itself Mex," Lisa said. "I've been studying its responses while treating its wounds. Watch this." Lisa stepped closer to the alien and looked directly into its eyes. The Calaxian's breathing quickened, and it turned its head away after a few seconds. "Now watch this," Lisa said. She pulled out a tablet and showed a series of human eye pictures to the alien. With each image, she recorded its reactions. Some eyes caused stronger responses than others. "What have you learned?" Jack asked. "Something amazing," Lisa replied. "Calaxians communicate emotional states primarily through subtle eye movements. Their language has over 50 words for different types of eye contact. To them, human eyes appear to be in a constant state of emotional broadcasting. Like we're always talking to them without knowing it," Jack said, understanding. "Exactly. And since they evolved as ambush predators, they're extremely sensitive to eye signals. Human eyes overwhelm their sensory system." The wounded Calaxian spoke suddenly, its voice translated by a nearby device. "Your eyes. Too much feeling, too many messages." Jack looked at the alien. "What do you see in our eyes?" The Calaxian struggled to find words. "Life, death, love, hunt, fear, brave. All at once. Too much." Lisa made notes on her tablet. "I think this is why they're so disturbed by us. Their brains can't process the complexity of emotions in human eyes." Before Jack could respond, a message came through on his communicator. "Admiral, we need you on the command deck. The Calaxians are sending a transmission." When Jack arrived at the command center, the main screen showed Commander Zrek, now wearing elaborate armor that marked him as Fleet Lord. "Human Admiral," Zrek said. "Your resistance is stronger than expected, but it will not save you." Jack stood tall. "What do you want, Fleet Lord?" "Your surrender. Give us your world, and some of your kind may live as servants." Jack shook his head. "That's not going to happen. But I have a different proposal. Stop this war. We can find a way to coexist." Zrek's eyes narrowed. "Prey does not speak to hunters. This way. We're not just prey," Jack said, looking directly into the alien's eyes. "Look at me, Fleet Lord. Really look." On the screen, Zrek seemed to struggle. His eyes locked with Jack's for longer than any Calaxian had managed before. Finally, he looked away. "You use your eyes as weapons," Zrek accused. "This is not honorable." "We use our eyes to communicate," Jack corrected. "Something your people could learn," Zrek hissed. "We will not be changed by prey. Prepare for the final battle." The screen went dark. Jack turned to his officers. "They're planning something big. We need a new strategy." Back on Earth, engineers and artists had been working on a different kind of defense. Huge orbital platforms had been built with enormous human eye patterns that could track incoming ships. The eye arrays were powered by advanced computers that mimicked human eye movements. When the first Calaxian ships approached Earth, the eye arrays activated. The effect was immediate. The alien attack formations broke apart as ships veered away from the giant watching eyes. "It's working," shouted the control room operator. "They're breaking formation." But the Calaxians adapted quickly. Their ships regrouped and attacked from different angles, trying to avoid looking directly at the eye arrays. The battle for Earth had begun. Meanwhile, Dr. Daniel Murphy had developed a bold plan. He approached Jack with his idea. "It's not enough to confuse them," Daniel explained. "We need to make them truly see us, understand us." "How?" Jack asked. "A direct mission to their command ship. Not to destroy it, but to communicate with their leaders. Show them who we really are." Jack frowned. "That sounds like suicide." "Maybe," Daniel admitted. "But I've been working with the captured Calaxian. They can learn to understand our eye communication. It just takes time and direct exposure. Jack thought about it. The Earth fleet was outnumbered. The eye arrays would only slow the Calaxians down, not stop them. They needed something more. Who would go on this mission, he asked. I would, Daniel said firmly. And I've already spoken with Sergeant Ward. Her team is willing. Jack rubbed his face, tired from days without proper sleep. It's risky, but at this point we need risks. The plan was set. While Earth's remaining fleet engaged the Calaxians, Sergeant Olivia Ward's stealth ship would approach the Calaxian command vessel carrying Dr. Murphy and a special communication device. Before they left, Lisa gave Daniel new information. I've been studying their language patterns. Their word for eye contact is the same as their word for soul touching. I think that's significant. Daniel nodded. I think you're right. They see the soul through the eyes, just like many human cultures believe. But they've limited that connection to the moment of killing. What are you going to show them? Lisa asked. Daniel gestured to a small device. Everything, human history, our struggles, our love, our perseverance. I want them to see the full spectrum of who we are. The mission launched the next day. Olivia's team, with Dr. Murphy aboard, slipped past the main battle lines while the Calaxians were focused on Earth's defenses. As they approached the massive command ship, Olivia looked at her team. This mission is different. We're not there to fight if we can avoid it. We're there to be seen. The team nodded, their faces serious behind their helmets. They had trained for combat, but this required something else. Courage of a different kind. The courage to look into the eyes of a predator and show your true self. Their ship docked quietly on the underside of the command vessel. The final phase of humanity's strangest battle was about to begin. The inside of the Calaxian command ship was hot and humid. Sergeant Olivia Ward led her team through narrow corridors, their special helmets showing enhanced human eyes on the front. Dr. Daniel Murphy walked in the middle of the group, carrying a small metal box. They encountered few guards at first. Most of the Calaxian forces were focused on the battle outside. Those they did meet were affected by the eye displays, becoming confused and hesitant enough for the team to move past. The main command center should be 3 levels up, Olivia whispered, checking the map they had created from previous mission data. The team moved carefully through the ship. As they got closer to the center, they found more resistance. A group of 5 Calaxians blocked their path in a large junction room. We can't avoid them, Olivia said. Prepare for contact. The largest Calaxian stepped forward, its yellow eyes narrowed. Humans, you are brave to come here. Foolish, but brave. Olivia stepped forward too. We're here to see Fleet Lord Zrek, the alien hissed. To kill him, you will die first. Not to kill, Daniel said, moving beside Olivia. To communicate. The Calaxians looked confused. Before they could decide what to do, alarms sounded throughout the ship. More guards would come soon. We need to move now, Olivia told her team. The humans pushed forward. The Calaxians attacked, but the eye displays gave the humans just enough advantage to fight through. 2 of Olivia's team fell in the battle. Private Kate Brown took a deep cut across her leg but kept moving. Corporal Henry Evans was hit by an energy blast and didn't get up. The remaining team members made it to a lift that took them up toward the command center. They were all breathing hard, and Private Joe Miller was holding his side where claws had torn his suit. We're close, Olivia said. Joe, can you make it? Joe nodded, though his face was pale. I'll make it, Sergeant. When the lift doors opened, they faced a wide room filled with Calaxian officers. At the far end, on a raised platform, stood Fleet Lord Zrek. His scales shimmered with more colors than the others, and his armor was covered with symbols of rank. Zrek saw them immediately. Humans, how did you get here? He raised his hand, and dozens of weapons pointed at the small group. Olivia stepped forward, removing her helmet to show her real face and eyes. She looked directly at Zrek without fear. Fleet Lord, we come with a message. Zrek stared at her, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. What message could prey have for hunters? Daniel moved forward now. One that might change everything. He opened the metal box he had been carrying. Inside was a device with a lens on the front. "What is this?" Zrek demanded. "A chance to really see us," Daniel said. He activated the device. Images projected onto every screen in the command center. Images of Earth, of blue oceans and green forests, of busy cities and quiet villages, of children playing and old people smiling, of humans working together and helping each other. The images showed human history, the struggles and wars, but also the healing and building that came after. It showed humans facing disasters with courage and kindness. It showed human eyes in all states of emotion: fear, joy, love, determination, hope. "This is who we are," Daniel said, looking straight at Zrek. "Not just prey, not just hunters. We are both and more. Look at us. Really, look at us." The Calaxians in the room were frozen, their eyes moving from screen to screen. None raised their weapons. Zrek stepped down from his platform and walked slowly toward Daniel. The Fleet Lord towered over the human, but for once, he didn't look down. Instead, he looked directly into Daniel's eyes. "Your eyes," Zrek said quietly. "So much in them." Daniel nodded. "That's because we've been both the hunter and the hunted throughout our history. We know both sides. Our eyes show all of it." For nearly a minute, Zrek held eye contact with Daniel. It was longer than any Calaxian had managed before. The command center was completely silent. Finally, Zrek turned to his officers. "Lower your weapons." "Fleet Lord?" one of them questioned. "Lower them," Zrek repeated. "There is something here we do not understand yet." Olivia couldn't believe what was happening. The plan had actually worked. The Calaxians were listening. "Fleet Lord," she said, "there doesn't need to be a war between our kinds. We can find another way." Zrek looked at her. "You are not like other prey we have hunted. Your eyes, they change us somehow." Daniel stepped forward again. "That's because when you look into our eyes, you're seeing something your people have never needed to develop. The full range of emotions that come from a species that has known both strength and weakness." Zrek was quiet for a long moment. Then, he pressed a control on his armor. "All ships, hold position, do not attack." Outside in space, the battle paused as confused Calaxian captains received the order. "We will talk," Zrek said. "This is new territory for the Calaxian Empire." 3 days later, Admiral Jack Harlow met with Fleet Lord Zrek on the neutral ground of the International Moon Base. Dr. Lisa Bennett was there too, along with several Calaxian officials. "We've stopped the fighting," Zrek said. "But many of my kind do not understand why." "Change is never easy," Jack replied, "for either of our species." Lisa stepped forward. "We've been studying your language and culture. Your word for eye contact translates as soul-touching. I think that's important." Zrek's head tilted. "Yes. For us to look into eyes is to see the deepest truth. That is why we only do it at the killing moment, to honor the life we take." "But humans share eye contact freely," Lisa said. "We see each other's souls regularly. It's how we connect." "And this is why your eyes affect us so strongly," Zrek said, understanding. "When we look into human eyes, we feel connected. It conflicts with our hunting instinct." Jack smiled slightly. "Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe both our species have something to learn from each other." The peace was fragile at first. Many Calaxians resisted the change, believing it made them weak. The humans were cautious too, not trusting the former invaders. But slowly, things improved. The Calaxians established an observation post at the edge of the solar system. Some of their scientists came to Earth to study and learn. A few brave humans visited the Calaxian homeworld. Jack became humanity's main ambassador to the Calaxians. Lisa worked with their scientists to build understanding between the species. Daniel created programs to help Calaxians and humans communicate better. Sergeant Olivia Ward, now Captain Ward, trained a new generation of soldiers who understood that sometimes the strongest weapon was simply the courage to look someone in the eye and be truly seen. 5 years after the first contact, a young Calaxian named Mex, once a wounded prisoner, stood beside Jack on the observation deck of a new joint species ship. They watched the stars together. "Do your people still find our eyes difficult to look into?" Jack asked. Mex turned to face him, meeting his gaze steadily. "Less each day. We are changing, some faster than others." "Change isn't easy," Jack said, "but it's worth it." "Yes," Mex agreed. "We were the greatest predators in the galaxy, but now we are becoming something more. Because humans showed us that even predators can pause, look into another's eyes, and see not prey, but a soul worth knowing." Together they watched as Earth grew small behind them and new stars beckoned ahead.